Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking this video and tuning in. Today I'm actually rising up to the challenge. A friend of mine saw all my videos and said hey, why don't you do something blue? So here I am, wearing blue with every intention of matching this outfit to my makeup. If you're new to this channel, then welcome. Good to have you here. My name is Dana. I'm a makeup artist, and in this channel I do makeup tutorials, demonstrations, and from time to time a tutorial that someone else wants me to do. So if you want to be a part of this friend or foe game, all you have to do is subscribe. Okay, let's jump into it. Tanya, this is for you. As always, I start with prepping my skin by just using my moisturizer. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it is important that it hydrates your skin and leave it plumped. While I let that primer set into my skin, I'm doing my brows really quick. Well, not really quick. You might think it was quick, but it was actually a disturbingly long process. I blame the corona. I just need to get someone professional to pluck my eyebrows and they're just done. I have to do something about it. Anyway, I'm using the MORPHE micro brow pencils as always, and I'm actually on the hunt for a new brow product, so if you have any recommendations, please leave me a comment down below. But for now, these two work really well. I'm using Java and Hazelnut. Java is a bit darker and I use that for my outer 3/4 of the brow, let's say, and to map the top and bottom borders. And Hazelnut is a bit lighter, and that's the pencil I use for the inner quarter of my brows, just to keep it fluffy and natural. Next, I'm going in with the NYX Control Freak Brow Gel, and this has two purposes. One, it helps the brow hairs stay put, and the other one is that using this brow gel, I can actually see if I missed anything, if I still have any sparse areas that I need to fill in. So that's a nice tip. Just use the brow gel as a final step to make sure you filled your eyebrows properly. For foundation, I'm using my Graftobian palette, and I'm combining it with my Sebocalm Semi-Sheer foundations in light and medium. I like adding that Sebocalm tinted moisturizer to almost every foundation that I use, especially this one because the Graftobian foundation is pretty thick, and the Sebocalm foundation just makes it easier to apply, just thins it out and make it more movable and blendable, if that makes sense. And yeah, here is one of the problems of doing my eyebrows before I do my foundation. I always take the chance of going over my eyebrows with foundation, and that sucks. But yeah, just keep in mind that if you're doing things in this order, you just have to be really careful. Other than that, you're fine. For bronzer, I'm using the Natasha Denona bronzer in Warm, and of course it wasn't enough that it's already broken, I had to break it just a little bit more. Anyway, I run it in the three areas that I like bronzing my face: on the lower part of my cheekbones, my forehead, and my jawlines. Just make sure that when you apply the bronzer on your jawline, just blend it downwards onto your neck. Just before I move on to eyeshadows, I want to make sure that my eyelids are soft and smooth, so I just run my foundation brush on them, and then I set that with my Laura Mercier translucent powder and a big fluffy brush. Now, the first eyeshadow I'm going to use is Blueberry from Makeup Geek. It's a really nice pure blue. That's how I would describe this. It's just blue. It's not teal, it's not navy, it's just blue. And I'm going to go for a halo effect today in this tutorial, which means basically to have an outer and inner dark corners and then a bright area in the center of my lids. Now, as a start, I just worry about placement of the eyeshadows. I'm not really worried right now about blending them. Later on, I'll make sure to have all these steps of blending them, not having any harsh lines and all that jazz. I just want to see how it goes since I'm not used to wearing blue and I'm not used to using these shadows. So bear with me. It will look a bit weird and undone, but don't worry, I'll get there. Next, I want to deepen the outer corners, and I'm using navy from the Lorac Pro 2 palette and a very small brush, applying it in the edges of my outer corners to just add a little bit dimension to that outer crease. Next, I'm using this shadow, Dragonfly by Makeup Geek, and I love this eyeshadow. It's one of my favorite eyeshadows in my entire collection. I think that it's so pretty and so versatile. I know some of you might think that this is a very problematic and unwearable shadow, but I love it. I use it pretty often, either in the lower lash line or even as an inner corner highlight. I just think it's beautiful, and yeah, I think it works here as well. I think it pairs beautifully with that blue. Now I'm using Peacock, again by Makeup Geek, and this shadow is going in the seam between, or in the transition between the Blueberry and the Dragonfly. Now the thing with blue eyeshadows is that they're really hard to blend. If you blend them too much, they might fall apart or look patchy. I don't know if that makes sense. So I think that's what happened here. I wanted to create this gradient between Blueberry, Peacock, and Dragonfly, and I think I lost some of the blue effect there. But I'm not too worried. You'll see during this tutorial that I go and apply and reapply and reblend these shadows over and over again. It's a bit of a tiring process, I have to be honest, but it's worth it. Besides, let's face it, I just love applying makeup. I can do this all day long, and you know what? Even if I'm done, I'm not really done. I can go ahead and just spend another 5 minutes, another even 10 minutes blending eyeshadows. It's just my hobby. I love it, so I don't really mind that. But here I am reapplying Dragonfly, and then Navy, and then every color in between. This is really the time where I also make sure that I have the shape that I wanted to have. I also add Navy to the inner corner of my eyelid. And of course, since it's me, I can't go an entire tutorial without having a blue eyeshadow all over my nose. So here you go. For the crease itself, I wanted to have a different shade of color. Though I do love the blues, I wanted to have something a bit different and a bit more wearable, if that makes sense. So I initially went with this Mango Tango eyeshadow by Makeup Geek. And to be honest, I think next to the blue eyeshadows, it didn't really show. So I decided to be a bit bold and take this garnet shade from the Jouer's blush palette, and I used a fluffy brush to apply it all over the crease, though I usually prefer having a nice gradient through my entire eyelid, in the sense that all my eyeshadows are blended together. In this case, since I have blue and teal eyeshadows on my lid and a pink eyeshadow, or in this case blush, in my crease, if I want to keep them true to their nature, I can't blend these two together. So I'm just using a fluffy brush and apply this blush a little above my crease, being really careful not to go over the blue eyeshadows I applied before. Now I know this looks pretty tiring, but I'm going in again with Navy and Peacock and Dragonfly, all the eyeshadows that I used before, making sure that I'm not losing this pigment, that I'm not losing the blueness of this look. But this time I'm also creating a shape. I don't worry only about the color placement, I'm actually worried more about the edges of where I put the eyeshadows. So now is a good opportunity for me to create the shape that I want, and in this case I'm trying to have a more elongated shape to my eyes, so I'm creating this outer V with that navy eyeshadow. And again, I'm reapplying also Blueberry and Peacock. I'm using Peacock also to create kind of a bridge that connects between the inner corner and the outer corner of my eyelid. Now for the fun part. I'm using this NYX glitter glue with this NYX beautiful teal to turquoise glitters, and of course I have to have glitters all over my desk, but that's fine. If you're gonna make a mess, at least a mess out of glitter. So I'm applying this glitter glue, and then on top of that I take the glitter itself on a flat dense brush and apply it in the middle of my lid. Now, I've kind of lost that teal dragonfly eyeshadow that I applied before, but that's okay. You can't go wrong with glitters. I mean, you can't be upset of not having something when you have glitter, so that's fine. Now to clean up half of my face, basically, I'm using my Garnier Micellar Cleansing Water. And you know what? I'm gonna clean up, retouch my foundation, and I'll be back in a jiff. For concealer, I'm using this MAC palette, and I'm using this peach tone along with the yellow tone concealers so I can address the blue discoloration that I have under my eyes, but also lift and brighten the area. Now, I have to tell you something. For years, I've avoided and stayed away from any bold colors. I just felt that I look like I've been punched in the face. And years later, I realized that you can get away with any eyeshadow and every look as long as you have a clean and smooth under eye. I'm telling you, take the time, research, try out different concealers. It's worth the effort because once you find a good concealer, a good corrector, you can do whatever you want on your top lids. It's a game changer. For my lower lash line, I'm using this navy from the Lorac Pro 2 palette and applying it with a tiny brush on the inner and outer bottom corners. Of course, I'm also connecting the top and bottom corners. And then I'm using this wonderful product by Cinema Secrets. It's called the Makeup Brush Cleaner to clean that tiny brush so I can go ahead and apply Dragonfly just in the middle of the lower lash line. Then to blend them, I'm using this Mango Tango, and this is the best proof I can provide you that you can't always blend colors that are so far apart from one another. Again, blue eyeshadows are so unpredictable. Sometimes they blend too much and break apart. Sometimes they don't blend. And I tried my best to blend those blue colors with the pink eyeshadow. Didn't work quite as well as I wanted it to be, but it's fine. You still get that pink eyeshadow and bold blue colors on the lower lash line. For the lower waterline, I'm using this Natasha Denona eye pencil that is really gorgeous. It's a really nice light celestial blue, and I'm using it for my entire lower waterline. And I think it turned out really nice. I think it really opens my eyes and adds some light into the entire look. But for my top waterline, I'm using this eye pencil by Rimmel that is quite dark. And the reason for that is that I feel if you're doing a black mascara, using a dark pencil makes sense because it's more cohesive this way and you kind of achieve a continuous flow of colors without a white color interrupting in the middle. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I hope it does. For mascara, I'm using the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black Mascara, and I'm not gonna even try apply false lashes. I don't want to take any chances with this eyeshadow look. I'm just going to use lots and lots of mascara to achieve this full voluminous look. For blush, I thought it would be appropriate to use the same blush that I use for my eyelids. So I'm taking this Jouer's blush palette and I'm using the color Garnet. And I think I applied a bit too much because this is a very pigmented and relatively dark blush for my skin tone. But that's not a problem because I can always take my foundation brush and tone it down a little bit. For lips, I'm taking my favorite lip liner. This is by Essence and it's the perfect mauve. You can see that I use that frequently. And I just run it all over my lips and fill them with the same color. Then I'm taking the Just a Tint by Colourpop in the shade The Strand. I want to have neutral lips with these kind of eyes. Of course, that if I'm already using glitter, might as well do some highlighter. So I'm using this wonderful Cover FX cream highlighter and I apply it gently with my fingers at the top of my cheekbones, above my brow bone, bridge of my nose and Cupid's bow. And yeah, I think that completes the look. In retrospect, there are several things that I would do differently. Mainly, try to not blend as much the blue eyeshadows since they got really patchy from all that blending. But overall, pretty nice, huh? Okay guys, this is it. This is my stepping out of my comfort zone makeup tutorial and I'm really happy that I did. I really like how it turned out and I like the glitter, I like the blue. I kind of lost that chill moment that I had there in the yellow high just in the middle of the eyelid. But regardless, I love it. Conclusion, blue is not such a bad thing. And to keep this momentum going, please let me know down in the comment box what is your pet peeves in makeup. I would love to know and maybe we can address that together. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll see you next time. Bye.